All right, here we go. I'm just finished plotting out the moves for the first and the fourth armies. I'm actually really surprised. I thought when I was first looking at them, I was like, I'm not going to be doing much because I'm not going to be conceding any territory and whatnot. But hold on, I got to turn down the music again. Jeepers, jumping, starting me up the tree. Um, I'll just turn it off completely. Excuse me, I'm going to grab some water as well. I haven't talked in quite a while. Use my voice anyways, except to talk to my cat. Yeah, I'm also using these two little blue markers here just to remind myself where the army headquarters are right now, because I do want to see what the battle group numbers are. Anyways, the reason why I'm kind of surprised I'm actually moving units more than I expected is when I was looking around, it dawned on me, I was like, wait a minute, I'm kind of wasting well, at least one German brigade here. I know why I put them together. It's because I'm kind of role playing. I was trying to keep the Germans together, but then I had to remind myself, wait a minute, they were sent over to help out the Austrians, so use them as much as you can. And one of the beautiful things about the difference between the German troops and the Austrian troops is the German troops are not forced to retreat if they suffer a third. They have to suffer a half of their strength points, whereas the Austrians are a third. And this quality extends into a stack. So in other words, if I put one of these brigades on these guys up here, they magically go from 1/3 to 1/2. So it's like, wait a minute. Okay, it's a piddly one strength point brigade, but its quality of, causing that less chance of a retreat, to me, is way more important than its one strength point. So I'm going to actually, so it's kind of a bit of a waste, but not really, because there's the other beautiful thing about freaking Germans is I can entrain, rail, and detrain into an enemy zone of control, for crying out loud. It's nuts. So but it does cost, because normally detraining doesn't cost a movement point, but to detrain into an enemy zone of control does. So, as long as I do that, it's fine. So what I did was I started to look, well, okay, I'll deal with this in a minute. We'll deal with that. So, and I'm also going to talk about how difficult it is for my mind to not slip back into old habits, because one thing I decided to do, like I think I was mentioning, is trying to get all the Austrians to adopt what I'm calling the Boroević Dictum. There, the guy Victor Boroević, the guy that went up against Cadorna there in the first battle of the Isonzo. And I'm going to read it out because it is, I've said it before, but I'm going to read it out. It's not a perfect quote or whatever. I'm just altered it a little bit, but I need to have this hammered into my head, so much so that I read it earlier on. 30 seconds later, I was already starting to make moves the way I would normally do. And I'll show you what I mean about the difference in the way Boroević would, I assume, would do something versus me. So, I mean, the way I was doing, I'm sure if he had gotten hold of it, would have lost his marbles. Anyways, his dictum is hold territory you have at whatever cost, and never attack unless it is to recapture a lost position, and do it immediately before the enemy has time to secure it. Okay? So I'll give you a perfect example of the difference between Boroević's, the way I'm looking at it, and me. So here I was when I was starting to get ready to move stuff. I was like, well, we're going to start doing a defensive perimeter here so I can start protecting the rail lines. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I completely forgot about getting that. One of my main things was to protect the rail lines. And the thing that kind of clued me in was I was looking over here in Przemyśl, and I'm like, talk about two wasteful troops now. I'm like, I've got... oh my goodness, you've got two brigades, two engineering battalions that are absolutely useless, because I was like, oh, there's no point. I'm never going to be able to convert any Russian rail. And it was like, actually, you may need it to repair Austrian rail because of the way things have been going. And that's what dawned on me afterwards. I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. I was supposed to be trying to secure some rail lines here. Because, everybody's coming up now, being rerouted through the Tisa River area. So, with that in mind, and like I said, I was going to start setting up a defensive perimeter here. And I was like, wait a minute, didn't Boroević said you're supposed to not concede any territory? And here I was going to therefore concede all this amount, man. That's just nuts. So, and imagine this. I was also going to concede Tarnow. That's the way my brain works. So I was like, okay, you can't do that. You decided you're going to adopt the Boroević Dictum, and that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. Originally, I thought, okay, I'm going to rail to here and go here. But then, of course, with the enemy zones of control, that just kills your movement so quick. It's not funny. But, oh my gosh, the Germans are just amazing. Well, in this game. I'm not saying in real life or whatever. Like, yeah, don't start making any weird personality things into me, please. I'm just into the role play, man. I just love the role play. Well, I love everything about this stuff. Anyway, so here we go. So I'm going to entrain the 21st Landwehr Brigade. I think that's the guy I want to do. Well, actually, I should do it according to my book first. Okay, so I'm going to move the 100th Landwehr Brigade from 2410 to 2310. 2410 to 2310. Okay, so this guy. Yeah, normally I wouldn't want to put this guy here, and that's yet again with this Boroević Dictum. I'm like, what the hell are you doing putting a one strength point brigade towards the front there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that so I don't concede any territory, and I'm hoping to God that the river and using some broken terrain is going to help, keep them to live. And that's why I'm doing that. So that is something I'm going to have to get used to do. Like that's against my nature. So it's going to be, this is weird. But like I said, hopefully with practice makes perfect kind of thing of getting used to doing things I'm not used to. Which was, on a side note, something I was getting much better at. Like I'm from my background is more from miniature wargaming. And believe it or not, you may not, people may not believe this, but I find miniature wargaming way easier to understand than Hex Encounter. Holy smokes, way, way easier. But anyways, well, that's another. So anyways, I'm going to entrain here. I thought I used my little. So that costs 1 point, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2 points. And then detrain is 3 points. And boom. So I've now popped. I've done kind of that, but I mean a bit stronger. I would have liked to have, used the German brigade to I'm not going to put them there in Tarnow, just due to the fact that Tarnow is a city center, so that these guys are never forced to retreat. I mean, they can still get killed, obviously, but I mean, they're not forced to retreat, so that's pretty sweet. And then, yeah, like I said, now the 23rd, entrain the 23rd Landwehr Brigade at 2610. So what I was doing here, and I'll show you later, I'll grab my sheet. I won't move the camera. I'll just bring the sheet over and hope to God I don't knock over all the counters, so I can show you how pitiful the strength points are across this front line. I'm telling you, man, if the Russians do any kind of push right now, this thing's going to snap like a piece of Melba toast. It's just, it's really, really, really fragile. So anyways, what I did was I tried to look here and see where I could use this German brigade the most, and obviously get it within movement point. To be honest with you, I kind of did want to get it to here the most, but I just can't. I can't see how. Okay, so it's going to cost me 1 point, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 points. 3 points. And I can't get into an enemy zone of control using a force march, and that's column movement. Sorry. Using a different term from another rule set. But you see what I mean? I can't get there. I can only get there through normal movement. So, and I don't think you're allowed to also use column movement and train movement in the same turn. So there we go. That's so yeah. So what I'm gonna, oh, yeah, that's how I ended up getting around this little bit. Now that I thought about it, now that's why I've got some more stuff written down here. I actually figured out a way of strengthening this spot without the use of this guy by doing that weird, like I said, feeding the snake thing or the conveyor belt. I'm moving an infantry division over into battle group 6. Then the German brigade will be popped over here. I'll lose 1 point because that's only one strength. You'll see what I mean in a minute here. So, okay, and train the 23rd Line Rear Brigade at 2610 and rail at 3109, which I'm going to do. Dink-a-dink-dink. He gets off here. And that costs 2 points. He detrains. That costs nothing. And then 1 point to move. And then 1 point to get into an enemy zone and control. 4 points. Bingo. Right? That's pretty sweet. And then, yeah, I'm moving the 15th Infantry Division here. And they're going to go into Battle Group 6. So that's 2 points I'm popping over here. So that's two points, you know, more than they had, which is sweet. And then, okay, I lose a point here. However, like I said, at least these guys now don't retreat, you know, until they lose half their points. I just got to hope to God that by that loss wasn't the same thing as, you know what I mean? But anyways, I guess it's the best I can do. So I'll just leave them here for now. And actually, I'll pop them on the 6 now. It doesn't matter because I'm bringing the sheet over. But I do have to put a half strength marker on there, so hold on. Otherwise, I will forget. And I think there's only one other guy I wanted to move over, the Polish Legion. And yet again, it's in a location I don't exactly want to put them in, but I can't get them to the spot yet just because of movement allowance. I mean, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Yeah. So this Polish Legion is, yeah, actually going to cross the border, for goodness sakes, in the river here. So that's 1, 2, and then 3, and then with the enemy zone of control 4. I would like to have them here, like to help these guys out, right? You know, I mean, you know, that would double their strength points, but it's the best I can do. I could have got them there. Oh, that's kind of useless. So, to me, it's, I think, the best I can do right now. You know, I'm kind of like it's. I guess this is the new reality front for us until the Germans can help out a bit, and just see what happens. It's, oh gosh, this has just been so fascinating watching this evolve. But anyways, yeah, I'll bring over the force sheet thing, and you can see how absolutely pitiful everything has been. So you can see here. So that's Battle Group 2. So at least they've got a German. I don't even know if this is focusing right. I hope so. But anyways, so that's only, what? That's 1 point. 3 points, man. Oh, sorry, 4 with the Germans. So you get the idea. Like, this is just brutal. There's not a lot here. Like even this guy, -3. Holy moly. So, oops. So, yeah, like that's what I mean. Oh, here's the beauty though. I can do this at the end of the turn. So I think actually I can only get this guy because these guys are so decimated. So I've got 3 points here. And yeah, these guys are down to, so that's 4. So that's 1. Yeah, so he's, yeah, I can bring these, so I can bring the 37th up to full strength. So that'll be nice to get some stuff back into play. But like I said, if the Russians decide to kind of force the issue out, I guess that's the way it works. So like everything's kind of quiet right now. Like I said last turn, the Russians did. So last turn there was absolutely not a single gun fired here, and that's just been the first time in quite a long time. But I think the Russians have different plans now because they've got some supply points, and they're up next. And I'm not doing any combats, so I'm just going to put the blocks on the Austrian counters, and away I go for the Russians. Okie doke.